Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is the Unstoppable Show, and I am Jennifer Hardy. Thank you so much for listening today. Today, I am joined with the beautiful Verity Brown. How are you doing, Verity?
I'm good, thank you.
Excellent. Verity has got a beautiful business called the Sea Salt Plan. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about what that actually is, Verity, please?
Yeah, sure. So the SEASALT plan stands for Stop Existing and Start Actually Living Today. And it's just all about helping women become empowered, make friends with their minds, and live in a life that they desire and deserve.
Fantastic. I love it, which is what we all want, isn't it?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your journey, your story. What did you used to do before you started this business? This is quite a recent business.
Yeah, so the business it launched about a year ago, but it's probably 18 months old in itself. So before that, I was a marketer, so I did a fashion marketing degree, and then I worked in marketing for a decade in a few of the major cities in the UK and for a variety of fashion and non-for-profit companies. So yeah, and I adored it, and I still do bits today because I my logical side of my brain can't let that go. So and it really supports what I then do with the sea salt plan. So yeah, it's a nice combination.
Fantastic. And with the sea salt plan, then how was that actually born? Like, what was there a kind of change in your own mindset? And that's what led to it.
Yeah, so in 2015, I had kind of a life-changing year. So I had four things happen in the space of 11 months that really changed everything in terms of my mindset, my approach, and my actual physical lifestyle. So I was in a near fatal car crash in the January, and then I lost someone very close to me to breast cancer a few weeks after that. And then I had to have an operation in the summer that played quite heavy on my heart and mind and body. And then a few months after that, I walked away from an almost 10-year relationship. So
Wow.
it was quite full on. I mean, I look back at it with kind of blessing and gratitude. It was heavy, but it really helped me realize my strength, and it also helped me realize that I wasn't finding that happiness in life that I truly knew I deserved. And so the Sea Salt plan came really, really organically. I did want to set up my own business, and I tried a few things before the Sea Salt plan. I tried more marketing based companies,
Yeah.
um, but the Sea Salt plan just flowed. It wasn't a concept that I thought up of. It just came, and that's when I knew it was a passion project, and that's when I knew it was what I was meant to be doing.
Oh, amazing. I'm so sorry to hear. What a yeah, life changing year.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
goodness. My goodness. So talk to me a little bit about the work that you actually do then when is it men and women or both that you work with?
Yeah, so it is predominantly women. My marketing and everything that I do is aimed at women. Interestingly, though, I do get men approach to work with me, and I think it's because my approach is very 50-50 in terms of that creative and logical element, or the spiritual and scientific. I really like to blend both together. And I think in a way that can be a part of my USP in terms of um, I I need both feet on the ground as well as my head in the clouds. So um, yeah, so it's and I really enjoy working with women. They're normally late 20s, early 30s, and just going through a similar path that I went through a few years ago, really. But where I really do flourish is more group programs. I think there's a real sense of importance in community, as you'll know, with your groups, and I just adore that energy that comes from that. And so I run goddess circles, and yeah, I do group programs and collaborate quite a lot with other women. So I just adore that positivity and feminine that comes through doing things like that.
And why do you think it is so important to do that in our work and try and connect with that divine feminine?
I think we've lost it as women. I think You know, if we all think about growing up, most of us, if we grew up quite conventionally, were kind of had the perception that being girly and feminine was fluffy and weak, and you couldn't be smart and girly, and you couldn't be strong and girly. And I know that times have changed so much in the past few years, and the media and marketing campaigns are portraying things so differently. But when we were younger, it wasn't like that at all. And I think because of that, a lot of women who are ambitious and wanted to be successful blocked out that connection with that divine feminine or inner self, whichever you want to call it. And so we've lost these gorgeous skills that we only have as women, that, you know, are using our intuition and things like that. And the thing is, it's a shame because we could excel so much more if we employ what we have inside us, rather than ignoring it. So it's kind of trying to help women find that again and really reconnect with that inner self, so they can be put on a path that is truly fulfilling for them.
That is so true. There has been for so many years. I mean, I used to get it said to me all the time, you know, you're too girly or you're too this, that. But I do feel as if I've got a kind of real 50-50 masculine and feminine energy. But I used to try and, you know, really park the feminine, which is so sad. I don't anymore. I definitely face it. But yeah, I would love to know as well, you know, there was something that you had said about making sure that you are doing the inner work and you are connecting with source and yourself. But I would love to know, your mind is something that is so extremely powerful, and it can set you up sometimes to be pretty hard on yourself. That chatter, that ego chatter. So I was wondering, do you have any tips on how you can actually quieten that a little bit and turn that negative chat, which everyone gets, I think, in their life in some capacity, and actually change that around into being much more positive?
Yeah, I think we all have an inner critic, and I think the more I learn myself about the laws of the universe, we don't realize how powerful that is, because, you know, thoughts become things, etc., and we just think we're telling ourselves that we're being silly for making a mistake or whatever, but that's transpiring into the things that are around us, and it's so powerful. We have to be really careful. I've had lots of conversations recently about the conscious mind versus the unconscious mind, and I'm currently studying a bit more about NLP and areas like that to really understand it, because in our thoughts, only 5% of those are conscious. And this is why reaching into this inner self is so important, because it's our subconscious that really holds the answers for us. And we need to start tapping into that and trusting that, and knowing that it isn't a silly, fluffy approach, but it's actually us using our integrity and our intuition and this magnificent thing that is our body and mind, that is probably, in my mind, the most beautiful, magnificent machine that will ever exist on this planet. And we take it for granted. We don't realize how well it performs. And so we really need to put trust in ourselves again. And when it comes to that negative chatter, I mean, the first element and the easiest element is to try and remove negativity externally, because we don't realize again how much of that is going into our subconscious mind. So it could be as simple as someone that we meet regular who's a bit of an energy drain, or we have people on Facebook or Instagram who constantly moan or are really negative or aggressive. And it's not to fill our lives with, you know, lots of pictures that say everything is wonderful, but we need those things around us to remind us, because it's so easy to forget, especially when we have a tough day or we're a bit weak in our mental strength. This is the reason we have affirmations and things like that, because we sometimes need those prompts. You know, we're not perfect, and we need to you know, practice gratitude and practice positivity. Another little trick that I was taught once was, if you do find that your head is kind of spinning a little bit, whether it's with negativity or just overwhelm, they say to gently hold your tongue between your teeth. And because we don't realize it, but our tongue vibrates when we're thinking, as in it's kind of talking it to itself in the head.
Oh,
It's really hard to think when we have our tongue still. So it's a silly little thing, but just to gently hold your tongue between your teeth if you find your mind chatter's just getting too much, and you will find that your body literally cannot think when you're doing that.
that is a brilliant tip. I actually was just doing it there.
It's strange.
Wish you could have seen me. So yeah, the women that come to you, kind of what stage of their development are they at when it comes to their kind of inner self and understanding of that? Are they beginners, or have they got a kind of have they already maybe been searching out how they can be much more connected to themselves and removing all those blocks and getting a little bit more into their own self-love and self-acceptance? Yeah, what kind of stage are they at when they come to you?
Yeah, I would say they're not quite beginners. The women that I work with, kind of my dream clients, are just really open-minded women. So normally they come to me very rational, very kind of logical, and know what they want out of the sessions with me. And I will be very upfront at the start and say I may bring in some more spiritual aspects. You know, are you comfortable with that? And as we go along, we can see if they are or not. And spiritual aspects can be anything from guided visualization to affirmations to cleansing to oracle cards. It just depends on what they're comfortable with. But at first, it's about building that trust. And I think what a lot of women do is they've tried everything they can with their logical mind, and they haven't quite got the answers, so they start to look at other options that will enable them to understand themselves more and live that truly fulfilled life. So yeah, they kind of then go on that road, on that journey, and the most beautiful thing is about coaching is that we will have conversations and the information will be absorbed, and then it will be a few days after or a week after, you know, you will get messages saying, oh, I've just realized this, or this has just clicked. And it's gorgeous that as a coach you are given the tools for women to discover what's already in them. So it's, yeah, I kind of feel that I'm just the tool that helps them tap into that inner self, because they didn't quite know how to begin. And then it's just a continuous journey from there on, really.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful way that you put it. You know, we are just that kind of vehicle
Mm,
that just kind of lays out a path, a road, but it is everything that they then become and step into is has always been inside of them.
yeah.
It's beautiful to be able to unlock that. So amazing, Verity. What a beautiful business you have. And I would love to know where everyone can actually find you on the online space as well. Do you have any communities or groups that people could join to get to know you?
Yeah, so I have a Facebook group. So that's the Stop Existing and Start Your Living Today Sisterhood. So I will give you a link for that. And then I'm most active on Instagram because I'm all about the visuals. So people can find me on there. And then the website is theseasaltplan.com.
Fantastic. And I know that you actually also have a free gift for the listeners today.
Yeah. So I recently recorded a masterclass on, it's all around money mindset, because a lot of women come to me for different things, but then that ends up being a subject that we talk about. So it's kind of like the stage before the manifesting money. It's all about looking at your relationship with money and making money a friend. So I will give your listeners the link to that so they can catch up on that 5 steps to making money your friend masterclass.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much. And just before you go, could you give us a couple of tips for women that maybe are in a space? I know that you spoke about, you know, the year that you had, which was obviously devastating. For anyone that's out there listening just now and they are going through something that is quite traumatic, they are maybe just going through massive change and shift, what would be just a couple of tips that you could give them just to get started on this kind of road to a more kind of positive and gratitude filled life, as hard as that is, because I know what it's like when you are going through a negative and hard time, the last thing that you want to think about is anything positive. You're consumed by it, aren't you? So would you
Yeah.
have tips for people that are listening that can just try and get them out of that space a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that kept me going, and it's one of the steps of the SEASALT plan, is just knowing that there's a reason for everything. And that can be really hard when you've been through something traumatic or quite strong in terms of its effect on your mental or physical health. But that was the one thing that really did keep me going. It then allowed my mind to open up to where this pain was leading me to. And it is easy saying that on reflection, but I genuinely can hand on heart say that I believed that at the time as well. And so that allowed me to not let the journey I was on then to overtake me, because our mental strength is so important, and obviously mental health issues can be so evasive into our general lives, and so it's really important that we try and take care of that mental well-being. I also would say I always promote going to a professional, a medical professional if you are struggling. We all need different levels of support, different things help different people. Talking is easier said than done. And so sometimes it's easier to talk to a stranger. But the biggest thing for me is, and it's my mantra now, it's being present. So when you're present, if you're in a situation where you're overcrowded with feelings and thoughts that are maybe of a negative element, then when you're present, you really just focus on that one particular moment, and it just allows all that noise to calm down. And it takes practice, and it's not easy, but it really is life changing, because it just allows you to really be as strong as you can in your mind and enjoy life as fully as possible.
Absolutely fantastic advice there. Thank you so much. Verity, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you today, to get to know you and to get to know the SEASALT plan and what that's all about. You're doing incredible work out there in the world.
Thank you.
And I'm so excited for everyone that's listening to jump over to where Verity is, at the groups that she mentioned. For you all listening, you can scroll down and all of Verity's links are there. So it's super easy for you to find where you're going and get to know Verity a little bit more. And of course, you can download your free gift there too. And if you want to know a little bit more about Unstoppable, scroll a little bit further down and some of the information about what we do here is also there. So Verity, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, wherever you are in the world. Thank you again for being a part of this incredible movement. I appreciate you. I'm so grateful for you. And I will speak to you all real soon. Bye.